Hi, Mommy, and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time, welcome. If you've been here before, how are you? Hope you're doing well. I am Betty, the Motivated Mommy. I am a life coach for moms, and I work with moms who are feeling exhausted, anxious, and overwhelmed in their new roles. I help them find their inner strength, and together we work on helping them become the mothers they've dreamed of being, which is a phenomenal mother. So, welcome. I know a lot of you were wondering what I did, so I just thought I'd share it on this platform for you. All right, so today we are going to talk about thoughts and how thoughts make up your entire perception existence, basically. The life you live is literally created by the thoughts that you think. So, just like our bodies need nutritious, wholesome, good foods in them to thrive, our brains need those great, wonderful thoughts to think. So, what if I told you that you are what you think? What would some of those thoughts be? Would you be ashamed to admit some of those thoughts that you've been having? I know as human beings, we tend to focus on the negative much more. That's why our news, the media, anything to catch our attention is always going to be fear based. That's just a human instinct. So I don't want you to think this is just about positive thinking and your life will change forever. No, this is about recognizing that life will be 50-50, 50% negative and 50% positive most of the time. Of course, there will be times where this may change for you. It might not be equal all the time. But for the most part, that is how life works. So, what I would like to come in and do is let you know that you are able to control the thoughts that you think. I know for me, I did not believe this when I first heard it. I always assumed that the thoughts in my head were just kind of there based on the outside factors, based on what was going on in my life, how people were treating me, was my job one that I liked. All of those thoughts that I created were coming up from my own brain. It wasn't because of outside factors. It is very easy to fall into that trap. And I don't think we've been taught as women, as mothers, as human beings, we haven't been taught how to properly handle our emotions. But I'm here today to let you know that you are able to control your thoughts. So, I have some tips and I have my notebook with me as always. Here. So, the first thing you'll want to do is be aware. Your awareness is key in so much of your life. But in this case, we want to be aware of what thoughts we're having. You want to acknowledge those thoughts. That's the second thing. Acknowledge what type of thoughts, what those thoughts are. You don't have to try to figure out what they mean and all of that. Just know what those thoughts are. After you acknowledge, you're going to give yourself some grace. You're going to be kind to yourself because more than likely you're going to want to judge yourself, be hard on yourself for having those thoughts in the first place. But I promise you, there is nothing abnormal about that. As human beings, we have negative thoughts. That's just what it is. Your brain offers you those negative thoughts as a survival mechanism. So don't blame yourself. Your thoughts are not you. And then the final thing you're going to want to do is come up with a better feeling thought, a better sounding thought. It doesn't have to go all the way into la la land and fantasy world, going from something like, I'm a horrible mother to I am the best mother in the world. No, it doesn't have to be that extreme. It could simply be something that will feel better for you. So we can go from, why do I always yell at my kids? To, I don't always yell. I yell at times that I get upset. Or I'm only yelling when I don't have the right equipment to respond to them. Something like that. Whatever's going to feel better for you, it could be, imagine it just being one step up from where that negative thought is. And the reason that we want to do this is ultimately to feel better. In the history of change and being better and evolving and being the best version of ourselves, we don't get there by being hard on ourselves and criticizing. We get there by slowly progressing towards the change that we want to see within ourselves. So we can go through this again. You have the thought, a thought that does not feel very good or it's not giving you results that you want in your life. You become aware. That's huge. Just being aware that you have these thoughts is putting you in a much more enlightened place. You're aware of the thought. You may not know what it is, but you know that it's something in there. You acknowledge it, so you lay it out, you write it out, like I always say, write it out. You see what that thought is. You give yourself some grace for having it because you are human and you are trying to better yourself. So that is commendable on its own. And then the next step would be to pick a better sounding thought. Now, by doing this, it is something that you will believe. Like, that's why we don't jump from one extreme to the next, because that won't be believable to you or your brain. So, most likely, you're not going to adapt that as your thought. You pick a better sounding thought, so the next one on the step. And then the last step is practice, practice, practice believing that thought. That is the only way that you'll be able to adapt said thoughts. The thoughts that you currently have going on in your mind now are there because you've repeated them over and over and over in your head. So they've become very familiar to you. So in order to adapt this new, better sounding, better feeling thought, you're going to need that same practice, practice, practice. Repetition is key. Okay? I hope that this helps. Let me know if you've tried this for yourself. You don't have to go grandiose, some huge life changing thought to begin with. Start small, something that you're able to accomplish and see where it goes from there. I guarantee if you continue to practice this, it becomes easier and your life will change. I hope that you found this helpful. For more information on what I do, click on the link below. Bye, Mommy.